And Michael, I'm told you have with you the minister.
Yeah, that's right. On the campaign trail, the national chairperson of the ANC in Huhudi, one of the informal settlements around Vryburg in the northwest. I want to bring Mr. Gwede Mantashe in immediately. Mr. Mantashe, what did you see there? Surely it's a situation you can't allow to continue.
I'm not going to live here before it is resolved. I'm not going to live here before it is resolved. That is what the campaign Tumamina is supposed to do. A spillage of sewer on the streets of Huhudi cannot be allowed to continue because the health hazard, and we must attend to it immediately. And we've been asking people here because this municipality is an ANC-controlled municipality. And our starting point is that, therefore, if they are letting people down like that, the ANC is letting people down. So we must address that issue immediately. The officials of the district municipality are here. And we said to them, we're giving them 1.5 hours to attend to that issue. After 1.5 hours, we'll have a follow-up meeting, then go back to do an inspection in local. We've also observed the question of refuse removal, which need urgent attention. And it's not about campaigning. It's about serving the people. That's the basic thing to do. You can't allow a sewer spillage to continue for a very long time, unlimited. You are going to affect many, many people in terms of health.
Some of the people we interviewed yesterday, they are suffering from tuberculosis as a result of this. Therefore, the pressing need to have this seen to urgently.
What I will not do, I'm not a medical person. I'm not going to give diagnosis for tuberculosis. It's a big problem in South Africa. If you say it is caused by this spillage, that is not for me to do that. Mine is to ensure that that spillage is attended to immediately. And the district is here to get a long-lasting solution to that problem. Because they are beginning to say the piping system is smaller, the population has grown, and we say you can't wait for addressing that issue. That is a long-term problem that should be addressed, but you cannot allow a spillage to continue. You must stop that immediately.
Unemployment, one of the biggest issues in the area. How are you going to make sure that people come out to vote for you? People are saying here, a lot of the people I've spoken to, empty promises, they're tired of them.
No, the ANC doesn't make promises. The ANC makes commitments. That's what the ANC does. If in the ANC we say we're going to do X, Y, and Z, we do it, even if it takes longer. But what is now sometimes is missing is when our structures don't go and report back that these are the problems, we're going to do that. The government cannot employ every South African, okay? As long as we explain that, because sometimes when we talk about employment, we get an impression that government can employ everybody in the country. The government must create an environment for the private sector to also thrive. It can absorb more people. And we must, you see, you saw the first investment conference that we had. That investment conference is about jobs. Because when investment so that the capacity of the economy to create jobs can grow. And that is the work of government. Therefore, there's no empty promise that government of the ANC promised to employ everybody. There can be no such a promise, but the ANC government must work on creating the environment for more employment and absorb more people to work.
Mr. Mantashe, I wanted to please ask you, now that I have the opportunity as National Chair, I'm sure by now you will have seen the images of the Secretary General handing out cash when he was on a door-to-door. Is that ANC policy? Surely it's unethical.
No. I think we should not exaggerate things. Ace Makasholo visits a family, that's what I've seen. And that family complains that we don't even have food now. He takes out 400 rand. That is not dishing out cash. You are just giving a helping hand to a family that is in distress. You can do that. There's nothing unethical about that. If people are now starving now, they have no food now, you take what is in your pocket. Because if you say he gave them 20,000 rand, I would say he's dishing out cash. He has 400 rand, he leaves it there. There's nothing unethical with that when you come against those desperate situations. Actually, we should do that more. It's not buying votes. It's about just contributing in alleviating a desperate situation. 400 rand will not buy full grocery for a family, but it will go a long way in getting enough for today and tomorrow.
But I'm sure context is important less than a month before the elections. As long as the Secretary General is taking money out of his pocket last year or in a year's time, then I think you can say that.
I agree with you, because there's this thing that there's a narrative in South Africa that when there are elections around, stop doing anything. Actually, ideally, I should not be worrying about that spillage because there are elections. If I say it must be addressed, I'm campaigning for elections. And the reality of the matter is that it's a desperate situation that must be addressed, that should be addressed now, elections or no elections. Now, this narrative that because there are elections, don't do what you should do, is actually a flawed narrative. Okay. That should be corrected, because some people say, yeah, you are delivering this road because there are elections. I always explain to them, after the elections, nobody will come back and take away that road. If you develop road now, that road is a permanent infrastructure for that community. Rather, they must celebrate it, rather than saying it's because of elections. If elections are a pressure point for delivery of that infrastructure, they are good for the people, because once you deliver that infrastructure, you don't come after the election and remove it and bring it back in the next elections.
Gwede Mantashe, I'm going to go further afield with my very last question. Omar al-Bashir has stepped down as a Sudanese president. Is the ANC got a view on that?
People of Sudan have demanded for him to step down. He has stepped down. Non-interference on the internal issues of South Sudan is a very principle of not only the African continent. If you go to the Bandung Conference, that principle is built into the principle of the Bandung Conference, that non-interference on the internal affairs of that country. The worst thing is for us to arrest him here and want him to step down. The best thing is when people in Sudan demand that he steps down, and he steps down.
Gwede Mantashe, thank you very much for that. So you heard it there from the national chairperson of the ANC. He has given the leadership here an hour and a half to come back with concrete plans to resolve the sewage spillage issues in Huhudi.
eNCA reporter Michael Appel in Vryburg for us. Thank you.